was 1982, an organization was built to market L. Ron Hubbard's science fiction and to manage his assets and his wealth. The name of that organization was Author Services. And it's a very luxury building with Taj Mahal type interiors on Hollywood Boulevard, not so far from the Chinese Grand Theater. Well, two people lost $30 million worth of Hubbard's wealth. Lyman Spurlock and the guy whose cabin I used to audit on the ship, Alcock. So Alcock and Spurlock lost $30 million worth of Hubbard's wealth. We're talking 1982, 1983, 1984. It was invested in oil, and the 30 million vanished. The investments went down. So to compensate and get back this $30 million, Author Services devised marketing for L. Ron Hubbard collectibles. And they acquired a lot of books that were autographed. I had some signed books. They actually bought, they bought a book from me for $25,000. I actually got a check from Author Services for $25,000. And they flipped that book in 24 hours for $50,000. We're talking 1983, 84. Author Services would descend on people who'd come in the church thinking they would get spiritual gain and rake them over for these collectibles and for paper prints in horrible frames. They would get hold of an artist, and an artist would make a painting of a scene in Battlefield Earth. And then Author Services would flood the churches and peddle these paper prints. I gotta tell you, some of these paper prints were softcore porn with women with huge dangling breasts. And these were sold for $1,500 on up. They go on eBay for $20. I've seen them even on Craigslist for $15. So here's a scam, and church is famous for scams. Buy a paper print of Battlefield Earth for $1,500, and it's an investment. It could be worth $5,000 in future years. Well, people throw it away on eBay for $20. Author Services, this business of secular versus non-secular, ecclesiastical, church versus business, Author Services flagrantly use church mailing lists, people who've signed up as parishioners, to market and tout the science fiction too. I was called to Author Services about 15, 16 years ago. I got to tell you this story. This is off the charts. And it was known that I had a huge collection of Hubbard autograph books. I had some leather-bound collection that I had bought in those days when I was in. And this girl summoned me to Author Services to find out how many signed books I had and what kind of price was I going to ask and was I going to sell them. So I'm sitting there and I noticed she's somewhat hostile to me. This was not a good meeting. And I'm wondering, why on earth am I showing up here? These people aren't my seniors. These people have no domination over me. I've left the Sea Organization. I'm out. And she says to me, you know, Karen, I've seen your website, your homepage. And I said, yes. And she said, I don't see one darn thing praising the church. I don't see a link to CCHR and Way to Happiness. I don't see that you're even a church member on the church. What's with that? And I'm stunned. She sucked me and lured me into Author Services to ask about my collection, and she's screaming at me because my private homepage doesn't tout and promote the scam sublets of the church. These CCHR, Way to Happiness, Nakanan, these front groups are not promoted on my homepage. I was slowly, gradually walking out the door. And quite frankly, even though this was 15 years ago, I would have been ashamed to promote Nakanan, CCHR, Crimanon, any of these front groups that basically are there to lure in applied scholastics, to lure in people into the church. A little known fact is that David Miscavige purchased a $4.5 million home, which he can access through a tunnel from Author Services to his private cottage at the back of Author Services adjoining it. And you can always tell when he's in town because there'll be security guards manned up, armed, ready to protect the guru.